Welcome to Carcentric. Today we've got Porsche's Carrera GT, considered the last analog supercar that they built. And this one, as you can see, is in beautiful Guards Red, one of only 42 produced in that color out of a total of 1,270 cars that were built, with 644 coming to the United States. This car is a V10 with 605 horsepower, and as you can see, it's fast just standing still. It's a highly desirable car, and today we're going to show you why. Let's have a look at this fantastic V10 engine that's in the Carrera GT, shall we? I mean, just have a look at this. 605 horsepower, reached at 8,000 RPM with a red line of 8,400. And you can see the beautiful carbon fiber cradle. And again, this engine was originally designed for the Footnote Formula One team in 1992. They were contracted by Porsche to design the engine for that team, but it never came to fruition. So Porsche ended up with this marvelous engine on the shelf. You can see some of the incredible casting, like that Porsche casting down there. I just love looking at that. The springs in this car, the way they're designed, everything is designed just like a race car. Now, you might not realize, but these are actually removable panels. They come off and they can be stored in the trunk. Although we're going to show you in a short while, the trunk is not very large, but they apparently were designed to fit in there, even though it seems hard to believe when you look at the trunk. So how neat is this? You've got this car where you can go al fresco anytime you want. Just take the panels off and you've got an open car. Let's take a look at the trunk, shall we? Now what you're going to notice is, which is no surprise, the trunk in this car is beautiful. In fact, it's really nicely quilted. And there you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Look at this beautiful quilt that's in here. Now, as we were saying, we have a removable roof which actually fits into the trunk here. Here's the mounting points, and here are the instructions on how to put it in. And this is something I truly love. There is the nut that is to be used to take off the Carrera GT's wheels.
Well, an interesting feature about the Carrera GT happens to be that it actually has different color center locks on each side. The driver's side happens to have red, and the passenger side happens to have blue center locks. Also, while we're here, it's pretty hard to ignore the giant polycarbon ceramic brakes, which are necessary when stopping from speeds that this car can reach.
The aerodynamics on this car. You know, a lot of this stuff is very commonplace on cars today, but you got to remember, this car was designed in the early 2000s, where a lot of this stuff just wasn't on any production car. But Porsche here, being Porsche, had come out with all these incredible aerodynamic aids on their race cars, and they put it into the production car. Starting with the front, where you saw the ducts here for the radiators, the massive front duct in the front with the carbon fiber. And then I love this space right behind the front wheel in the fender where you can actually put your hand right through it. The, of course, large ducts for the radiators there going into the rear of the car, the NACA ducts. And then as we come towards the back, you see the phenomenal spoiler there, which comes up at about 70 miles an hour on this car. All of this to keep the car on the road at incredibly high speeds, because the top speed on the car is 205 miles an hour.
Here is the Carrera GT interior door panel. And you'll see there's actually tons of carbon fiber all over the car here on the interior of the door. You'll also see it's lined with some leather inserts here. Even the airbag is leather lined in this particular car. You also have some nice silver accenting here, as well as, oddly enough, there's a little extra compartment over here, just in case you needed to stash something where you might not think anyone would find it. But in case that isn't enough, there's a very, very small amount of compartment space down here as well on the Carrera GT. You'll also see that there's a speaker system here, as well as the rear view mirror adjusters here. It's a switch to switch from the left to the right one, as well as a four-way directional pad there to adjust the mirrors to your liking. On the interior of the Carrera GT, you can see the incredible dials there in front of the wheel. The wheel looks like this, nice and leather lined. Steering wheel, currently turned to the right. We've also got the air conditioning vents over onto the side of both sides of the wheel there, as well as the passenger side here. You can see the incredible console lined in leather up here, as well as some options for radio, but I don't think you'd be using the radio too much in this particular car. Another thing to note here is that you actually have the shifter here in beech wood and ash wood, which actually was a harken back to the 917. But interestingly enough, the second year of production on these Carrera GTs offered a carbon fiber option on the shifter there. You also see the bucket seats with a great accent with the Guard's red seat belt on this car, but you can see that the bucket seats actually have the Porsche emblem sort of engraved on them there. Incredible look up at the top. And the bucket seats, let me tell you, these things really do a good job of holding you into the seat here. You can also see down further on the center console, you've got the climate control system there, as well as a small little compartment.
Listen to the engine.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to go for a ride in the GT. Listen to that engine, would you? Unbelievable sound. This car has like a little over 1,900 original miles. Wow. The engine sounds very industrial. Listen to it. It really does. Listen to that. Of course, it's cold, so we can't rev it too much yet, but listen to the sound. Truly unbelievable.
Going to the grocery store.
Yeah, exactly. But it is somewhat, I mean, the car, no problem driving around town.
No.
That's what's so fantastic about this and all the Porsches in general. You can take them out, take them to the grocery store if you want. Now we have to be very careful here because this car, unlike the modern Porsches, does not have a front lift. And it's very low.
All right, we go.
All right. Off the bat, this car has tremendous performance. Oh boy. And of course this has the carbon clutch, which means you literally cannot give it any gas or you'll stall it.
Exactly.
Listen to that. Wow. Oh my gosh. Now that's some acceleration. Holy cow. Love it. Gotta love it. All right. Whoa. Look at that. Jeez.
Sounds good, doesn't it?
Ferocious. It's
It's funny, the second gear on these cars, the same thing like the earlier Ferraris until the gearbox gets warmed up.
It crunches a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
My other car, the gray one, had the same thing.
So that's a characteristic.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Well, you don't see many of these on the road, I'll tell you that.
You know, I think I've seen one, and it was a white one in Miami.
Is that
Yeah.
right?
Which is, of course, a really rare color, white.
Yeah, white was not. I wonder how many they made in white.
You know, I have the list in my office, I can tell you.
What air conditioning
Air
really
work,
does work,
yeah.
doesn't it? Wow.
That's what I like. Got 2, 4, 5 knobs.
5, and that's it.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's
Very
it.
plain.
Yeah, very plain.
Very simple.
Very analog.
Whoa, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You're right.
I don't even normally use second.
Isn't that funny? It doesn't like it, but unless it warms up, huh?
Once it's warmed up, it's fine.
Yeah, interesting. The spoiler's not up yet.
You know, it's not that stiff. Really.
Yeah, I know, it rides nice actually. Surprising. About 4,500 here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, has a decent ride to it. Ah, spoilers come up. Pretty amazing when you start to get moving in this thing, isn't it? Jeez, look at this.
To wrap things up, let's talk about a brief history of the Carrera GT while looking over the different brochures that were printed for the car. Bear in mind that the white brochure is actually for the concept car, while the silver brochure was printed for the production car. The concept of the Carrera GT originates from the 911 GT1 and LMP1 98 race cars. Both designs had ended mostly due to the FIA and ACO rule changes in 1998. Porsche at the time had been planning on a new prototype for the 1999 Le Mans race. Initially, the prototype was intended to use a turbocharged flat 6, but was later redesigned to use a new V10 engine, which was the first V10 made by Porsche, and pushed back the project to a planned completion in 2000. The V10 in question was an engine that Porsche had secretly built back in 1992 for the Footwork Formula One team, but was later placed on the shelf. That engine was resurrected for the Le Mans prototype and increased in size to 5.7 liters. After just 2 days of testing for the first car, the project was canceled. This was due in part to the FIA and ACO rule changes in 1998 and mid-1999 that I mentioned previously, but was mostly due to Porsche's wish to build the Cayenne SUV, with involvement from Volkswagen and Audi. This ultimately led to the engineering expertise being pulled from the motorsports division, and the project was shuffled under the rug. It was speculated that Ferdinand Piëch, chairman of VW Audi, wanted Audi's new Le Mans prototype, the Audi R8, not to have to face competition from Porsche in 2004, but again, that's speculation. Porsche did keep part of the project alive by using a 5.5-liter V10 from the prototype in a concept car shown at the 2000 Paris Motor Show in an attempt to draw attention to their display. An influx of revenue provided from the Cayenne, as well as surprising interest in the concept Carrera GT vehicle shown at the Paris Motor Show, helped Porsche decide to produce the Carrera GT we know today. At Porsche's new manufacturing facility in Leipzig, development started on a street-legal version that would be produced in small numbers. Porsche started a production run of Carrera GTs in 2004, shipping the units with an MSRP of $448,000 US. The first Carrera GT was listed for sale in the United States on January 31st, 2004. A production run of 1,500 cars was planned. However, in August 2005, Porsche announced that it would discontinue production of the Carrera GT through to 2006, citing changing airbag regulations in the United States. By the end of production on May 6, 2006, more than 1,270 GTs had been sold, with a total of 645 units sold in the United States and 31 sold in Canada. I happen to have the statistics for the yearly sales and paint breakdown for the cars that went to North America during the full production run, which I'll show on screen now. In 2004, 175 cars were sold in North America. In 2005, 497 cars were sold in North America. And during 2006, only 4 Carrera GTs were sold in North America. Unsurprisingly, GT Silver was the most popular color and was ordered on over half the cars that were sent to North America, followed by black and then seal gray metallic. Only 19 cars were ordered with paint-to-sample colors out of the 676 Carrera GTs that ultimately went to North America.
Hey, thanks for joining us on Carcentric here today with the Carrera GT segment. And I want to thank my friend Dave for providing that car and that wild ride.
All right, and if you have another car that you'd like to see on the Carcentric channel, please feel free to email us at carcentricbusiness@gmail.com. Don't forget, if you want to see more content, like, comment, and subscribe. See you on the next one. Hey guys, we hope you like the content on our channel and encourage you to check out our other episodes. We also want to thank our friend Dave again for letting us check out his Carrera GT, and if you liked seeing his car, you can find more of his collection at djminvestments.net. I've included a link to his website in the description. We'll see you on the next episode.